What's up, everyone? I'm going to take you guys along with me today. I have a project kind of forced upon me. I have a Dodge 5500 work truck, and the throwout bearing has gone out on the truck. So the clutch has already been replaced. So a lot of people ask me, like, well, you're fixing to pull the transmission out, why aren't you putting a new clutch in? It's already got a South Bend dual friction clutch, like a dual disc clutch that was put on it by someone else before I bought the truck. So my guess is that when they put the transmission in the truck, they may have used the stock throwout bearing. But so now it's squeaking, making noises, all of the good stuff. So I am going to have to pull the transmission out just to put a throwout bearing in here. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Now, if your truck don't look like this on the inside, you're not working. I'm just letting you know. You got a show truck. But anyway, so there is some 8mm bolts. This is where you have to start. You have to take this console out. So there's some 8mm bolts in there. As you can see, I have some change here that I'm going to have to remove first. But you'll pull these bolts, and then this whole piece here will come out, and then you'll access, there'll be a couple more bolts, which I'll show you in a minute, where you'll pull that loose so the boot will come off, and then you can pull the shifter from the transmission. So let's pull these bolts, and I'll be back. So next step, already removed the first cup holder there. So once you pull those bolts, it just kind of like slips up. You got to fit the boots like between it. You got to like twist them and get them down between there. Then this one right here just snaps free right here. And then you got a bolt here. And then you got one right over here on this side. And then you'll be able to pull this side loose. Pull it on second gear there or something. But I'll have to fit that bolt through it. Or not fit the bolt, but fit the boot through it. And then I'll be to the shifter. And I'll get back with you when I get to there. Also, you should have, if you have like heat and air going to the back seat, you'll have this air duct right here that will pop free, and you can get that out of your way as well. And then you got like all the delicious mess to clean up. All right, be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. So you'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8mm screws. I don't even know if this is exactly what was supposed to be in there, but you know, they look like self-tappers, but that's what I pulled out. Anyway, so then you just kind of work the boot off, which is no deal. I just got to work it over this part right here. And then you get to right here, and apparently my truck's leaking. I'm not sure what that's about, but you know, I'll find out in a minute. But you got to pull these 4 bolts, and then this whole mechanism should just pull straight out. And then we can go to the four-wheel drive side. Okay, I'll pull those and be back. Okay, so I got the 4 bolts out, and then it basically just like pulls out, so it's pretty simple. Okay, so what you're going to have here is going to have these star type bolts here, and you'll need an E12. There it is. You'll need to have some stuff like that to get those free. And then shifters out, on to the next. Okay, under the truck now. So the next thing you'll have to do is take your wiring harnesses free, which are just like a couple plugs back there. You can just take instead of pulling that four-wheel drive shifter, you can just pop the linkage loose. So you got your bell housing bolts. I've already pulled one. They're 9/16. Then you'll have the cross member bolts, and those are 15/16, and you'll pull those. And then you'll have to pull this drive shaft loose from the back. I've already got my front drive shaft out, and that's just 5/8. You just pull those loose, that'll pop free. And then you have the task, because if you're like me, you will not have a lift, which makes life a whole lot more difficult. But once we get that free, we'll have to put a jack underneath the transmission once I get the cross member free, and let it lower down a little bit so I can get some room here to get to those. But I'm sure I can get an impact on those and pop those 2 top bolts free. And with this truck right here, it's not kind of like a car, or I mean, I fool with like Mustangs and Ford trucks, Chevrolet trucks, stuff like that. But and I'm not, don't quote me on this, but usually you have to support this or it'll like go down too far. This engine here, it's the first time I've ever done a diesel truck, but it does not look like it's going to go very far because it's got so much holding it there. So I'm not going to worry about supporting that. I'm just going to worry about keeping my face from being smashed by the transmission. I'm going to pull this stuff loose and I'll be back. So separating the transmission from the engine, and you know you have a bad throwout bearing when the ball bearings fall out of the housing, like as soon as you separate it. Yeah, I hope I haven't tore something else up. Anyway, be back. Also had to remove the exhaust. Lucky for me, I've got this exhaust pipe that has none of the BS on it. You know, nothing to see here, but it's a farm truck. That's what it is. It is a farm truck. So yeah, had to move that because right here I couldn't push the transmission back any further. If you have the stock exhaust, maybe a lot harder. I just had a V-band clamp, simple, 2 minutes it was off. So back at it, separate it. Okay, got the transmission free. So you can see I already took the throwout bearing out, but it's in 3 pieces. So I'll say this: if you hear it squeaking, park it. Just park it. Don't drive it. Don't. We call it. I do concrete for a living, so I've got a crew that works for me. They call it pulling an Isaac, running it till it's absolutely done. Maybe shouldn't do that because you can see it has worn the teeth on there, and I'm not really sure. I mean, I may have to get a pressure plate, but I don't know. Or I'll just run it, say screw it. If it pops the teeth, I know I gotta get a new clutch. So these clutches on these things are not cheap. Yeah, if it starts squeaking, get to it. And don't wait like 3 weeks like I did, because this thing started squeaking, well, really probably longer than that, but it is what it is at this point. All right, let's put this thing back together. Okay, got the new throwout bearing in. It's pretty simple to put in. I mean, it's just got these little keeper rings. You just kind of pop it in, and it locks it in. And then you just make sure that your spring's up here on your pivot arm. And basically, there you are. Throwout bearing installed. Now to put it all back together the same way it came apart. Pretty simple from here. That'll do it for this one. I guess one thing I could say is if you hear a noise, just go ahead and fix it now. Don't wait. Or you could end up having to buy a $2,000 clutch. But I think I've escaped that on mine. I think I'm good. It just had some like surface scratch. I think is okay, but it's not really that hard a job. A lot of people make it out like a hard job on these trucks, like these diesel trucks are hard to work on. They're not. Especially if you've had any kind of like deletes or anything like that done. It kind of frees up the room. But anyway, if you got any mechanical experience, you can pretty much handle it. Just everything's a lot heavier, so you know, don't crush your face and all. But other than that, dig in there and do it. If you hear the noise, fix it quick. Have a good day.